Time once again for the papers. Here to give us their thoughts, the journalist and author, Yasmin Alibhai-Brown, and the political editor of the Sunday Mirror, Nigel Nelson. Good to see you guys. And Nigel, we'll start with you this time. The pride of the Russian fleet now making its way to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's also Vladimir Putin's pride and joy as well. So he's going to be furious about this. It still seems to be a bit unclear whether or not it was an accident or it was actually hit by 2 Ukrainian missiles. But obviously the worry about something like this is that Vladimir Putin may go to even more extreme lengths to try and win this war. I think this shows just how badly the war has been going for him. This ship would have actually led the assault on Odessa. That's obviously now in question. So he does seem to be having setbacks all along the way. And of course, from his point of view, this is a war he can't lose. I mean, his entire future really depends on it, having decided to go into Ukraine. So one has got to keep one's fingers crossed that he doesn't sort of go to even more extreme methods to try and win it.
Yeah, indeed. Yasmin, take us to perhaps the least surprising political news of the week, that Imran Ahmad Khan has quit his job as a Member of Parliament, of course, precipitating at some point pretty soon a by-election.
Yes, and this is going to be interesting because this is, of course, one of the red wall or blue wall, which one is it, I don't know, areas which the Tories took from Labour. It had been a traditional Labour seat. As viewers will know, he was found guilty of whatever it's called, sexual assault on a minor, and actually, to his total discredit, was defended by Crispin Blunt, who is also an MP, who kind of, was rabid about the verdict, but the verdict went through and he's resigned. So I think this is going to be just as interesting as the local election.
Certainly will be. Nigel, take us inside the eye, and I'm just going to give a shout out to all the workers this weekend who will not be enjoying the sunshine like myself, who will not be heading off and taking advantage of the break. I mean, are you getting away, Nigel?
No, I'm not getting away.
Good.
Because my wife is incapacitated with a broken pelvis.
Right,
I'm
fair enough.
I do feel very sorry for you, Neil, that you have to work a weekend. But anyway, having promised temperatures that are up to 21 degrees in your weather forecast, it looks like a pretty miserable weekend for travel. So we've got the problems on P&O ferries, that they're suspended. We've got 27 million drivers taking to the roads, which means that there'll be traffic jams everywhere. And it's beyond me why Network Rail has chosen this weekend to do it, but they've got 530 engineering projects on the go. So that means a number of lines are going to be closed. Plus you've got chaos at the airports because airline and airport staff are off with COVID. Now, you would have thought that Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary, could have seen some of this coming. P&O certainly, COVID absences certainly, but all he's done so far is just wring his hands.
Certainly has done. Yasmin, before we move on, are you managing to get away?
Yes, we're going to Somerset to stay with some friends. And for the first time ever, getting on a flight next week, well, not ever, since COVID, to Portugal.
Well, you, yeah, exactly. You enjoy yourself, Yasmin. But of course, page 2 of the Times, a reminder that there is a serious cost of living crisis at the moment. Teachers, both my parents of whom were formerly teachers requiring food banks and second jobs to make things work. It's incredible.
Yes, and I've talked to several of them. This is the country we've become. This is the country where professionals and hard-working, working-class people who are persuaded by this government that, their lives would be leveled up, are having to do 2 to 3 jobs and use food banks. Food banks are so stressed out. And, they tell us to fly the flag and be proud. Actually, how can you be proud when our Chancellor is so rich that his great-great-great-great-grandchildren will never spend the money, and teachers are having to use food banks?
is very strange. Nigel, take us inside the Daily Mail, pages 22 and 23. A Netflix political drama about what it's like to be married to an MP. Not brilliant, I would suspect.
No, exactly. And this is a drama about an MP having an affair, and it gives Linda McDougall, who was married to the Labour MP, the late Labour MP Austin Mitchell, for when he was MP for 40 years, and she recollects the time when she had a call from a journalist who was asking her if Austin had been having an affair with Shirley MacLaine. For all I know, it could have been me making the call, as I remember chasing the story. Shirley MacLaine had said that she'd had confessed that she'd had an affair with an MP, and we all ran around trying to find out who it was. It turned out when she wrote her memoirs, it wasn't a British Labour MP at all, but an Australian Liberal. She also apparently had a couple of affairs with Prime Ministers, but not, I understand, Boris Johnson.
Good. Thank you for that qualification. Cheers, Nigel. Yasmin, Nigel, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up. Do hope you're well and enjoy as much as you can of the Easter weekend. We'll speak again soon. But you can stay where you are. Coming up next on Sky News Breakfast, as a Russian warship sinks off the coast of Ukraine, I'll be speaking to a Finnish politician as our country decides whether or not to apply to join NATO. Clearly, a damaging incident for the Russian forces, particularly their naval presence off the coast of Odessa. More on that after this.